Welcome to Yo-11 Minutes. Yo-11 Minutes, mostly Vegas, no BS casino experience, and more. Today's episode, don't check your jackpot in your luggage. This is episode 86, season 3. Michael Traeger is a casino and travel loyalty expert who also helps people turn their travel dreams into reality. And now your host, Michael Traeger. How's it going, Michael?
It's going okay. It's been a little bit of a crazy Monday, so
It's
I'm on high annoyance level.
it's just another manic Monday.
Just another manic Monday, yes.
We
But
should,
not as annoyed as I would be if I checked $12,752 in my suitcase.
right? Who? Okay, we'll talk about that when the time comes. But we'll talk about that when the time comes. I can't wait to talk about that. But first, why don't we get started with the news story? Boyd does not want to do the smoke-free study. Boyd Gaming shareholders overwhelmingly turned down a proposal to investigate the financial impact of having smoke-free casinos. This vote was the first of 3 similar measures being considered in the gaming industry. Supporters of clean air and public health had asked the Las Vegas-based gaming company to prepare and share a report on how much money could be saved if it banned smoking at its 28 locations in the U.S. The proposal was made by the Americans Non-Smokers' Rights Foundation and the healthcare provider Trinity Health during Boyd Gaming's annual shareholder meeting on Thursday. The company advised its shareholders to vote against this proposal in its proxy statements issued in March. It argued that previous smoking bans in the Midwest and Southern U.S. led to a loss of customers. Similar proposals are set to be voted on soon by other companies. Bally's Corp, based in Rhode Island, has its vote scheduled for May 16th. Caesars Entertainment, which runs 8 properties on the Strip and about 40 others nationwide, will vote on June 11th. Both companies have recommended that their shareholders vote against the smoke-free proposals. Advocates for smoke-free policies have stated their intention to reintroduce the proposal next year. Meanwhile, efforts to close loopholes in the Clean Indoor Air Act, which currently exempts casinos and bars in Nevada and other states from smoke-free laws, are ongoing. This push coincides with a legal challenge aiming for similar changes in New Jersey and a poll showing that 58% of Nevada voters support banning smoking in casinos. And that's going to do it for the news. And now for the views. Michael, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's a sort of an interesting one that they refused to do this study. I mean, I think inevitably, we're going to have mostly all non-smoking casinos at some point. I'm not sure how. It just seems to be adding and going in that direction. I do find that a lot of these studies are hard to follow because depending on who's done the study and who speaks about it, some claim that there's no impact on the casino properties when they go non-smoking, and then other studies have shown that they believe that there will be an impact. So I don't know what to think sometimes. I don't know about you, but I don't know. This comes up every once in a while, and I'm not sure what studies are correct or what they're looking at or what impact there has been. So because on this, I think Boyd claimed that smoking bans have impacted them in the Midwest and Southern markets, but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
So it's a tough one. So maybe they just don't, maybe they feel now that the business has been going well and they sort of got over the COVID thing and they're just afraid to do anything that's going to possibly impact the business, which I could understand a little bit.
yeah, and from what it seems like, Caesars has a vote coming up on this soon as well, and they're already being told to vote no. So I don't think that this is something that's going to be going into effect this year, but I'm sure it'll come again next year, and who knows what the demographics will look like as far as that goes. But I think it's gonna, if it does happen, maybe in like 5 years or something. I don't know. We'll see. It's one of those things.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing too is that, Vegas has been a little bit of an anomaly, right? Because it's had such a strong recovery after COVID. So who knows? And then you have all the other things like NFL and conferences back and F1. So, I mean, I'm sure there are arguments that could be made that if Las Vegas went non-smoking as an individual jurisdiction, some, casinos, some might argue that, the business is still strong enough. But then there are some that are going to argue that what happens when business falls off. And I think that business falls off thing, like that surge, that post-COVID surge, is going to impact areas outside of Las Vegas a lot more than it's going to impact Las Vegas per se. So I could see not wanting to risk things. And I think that's the big point of what Atlantic City's tried to say.
Exactly. So we got an interesting tease for today, as we kind of already teased in the beginning of the episode. But this is going to be a lot of fun to talk about, that's for sure. So let's get to the tease.
Basically, the tease is I'll read from this article that we're going to link to, and video interview is the receipt from the Circus Hotel and Casino. I love it when a newspaper by the way says a receipt. I'm assuming this is the W2G that the woman received. Says Kellum won $12,752 on Saturday, May 4th, and she wrapped the winnings in an elastic band, stuffed it in a purse, and hid it in her suitcase. And the trip home on Spirit Airlines went from Vegas to Orlando and then Orlando to Rochester, New York. Her luggage made it to the flight from Orlando, but she missed the flight. When she finally got to Rochester the very next day, she went to Spirit counter in Rochester Airport to pick up her bags. So basically, she got to Orlando. The bag continued on to Rochester, but she didn't make the connection. The bag made the connection. That happens sometimes. It's very interesting that somebody would win a jackpot and ask for it in cash. I think that's sort of interesting because you can always get a check. But she asked for it in cash, and because she thought it would be safer, she put the cash in her suitcase and checked the suitcase, which I'm just having a really, really hard time here. And I'm going to read part from the interview. And the woman who did this interview on this TV station said, you open it up, you go into the purse, and you're looking for the money, and it's not there. And then the woman said, yeah, it's not there. And she said, what did you think? And the woman said, my heart just fell. Like, how stupid can I be? Well, at least there's some realization there. Like, you put your money in there. How stupid can you be? I was just so heartbroken. Right now, I still be having dreams. I can't even really sleep. Okay. So basically, the woman who lost the money said, I want my money back, but there has to be something in place so no one else will go through this situation again. Now, of course, I feel bad for this woman because it's just horrible to win a jackpot and lose it by putting it in your suitcase and getting it stolen. But the way to prevent this from ever happening again is to make sure that you never put cash, valuables, or medications in a checked bag. I'm totally baffled by this, why somebody would think that that would be safer than carrying it on by yourself. And also, $12,000 isn't that much money that she could have put into a small bag and just kept it very close to her at all times when she was traveling. So it's a very interesting, bizarre story. The interesting thing also about it is she's been given a W-2G for that, so she is responsible for the taxes. So unless there's some way that she itemizes or she can take the loss of having this money stolen, she might actually still be on the hook for the taxes, though I'm no tax expert, so I don't know about that. And I know some will want to blame Spirit, but usually a lot of airlines subcontract baggage handlers. Of course, this shouldn't have happened. Of course, it sounds like it was stolen. I don't know how someone knew to go in there and find her purse and go through her stuff, or why they went through her stuff. Maybe because the bag got to Rochester without her. But this could, in theory, happen on any airline. So I don't think this has anything to do with Spirit per se. This has to do with the not good idea of checking cash in your bag. So that's bizarre. So what do you think, Moester? Did I cover everything? I don't want to be mean, but I mean I think the woman sort of admitted that this wasn't a good idea. The only part of it that seemed weird to me is that she's like, I want to make sure this doesn't happen to anyone else. I'm like, I don't think it's gonna happen to anyone else because most people don't check cash in their bag. At least I don't think they do. Do they?
I can't speak for everyone. I know that if I have any sort of cash coming back with me from trips I've been on out here, it's going in my carry-on. If it's a bit too thick for the wallet, it's going in my carry-on. Strategically placed in different locations. I'm gonna have an. This whole thing has inspired me to churn up an article for tomorrow for TravelZork about ways to not hide things, but like how to be more smart about your valuables when you're flying, and things to consider. So yeah, but I mean, why
A
did
guy
she need it
could
in
fit
cash?
10,000. You could fit two wraps of 5,000. I mean, you could fit $12,000 in one of your jeans pockets.
I
You
don't
could definitely
understand
do it
why
in
she
two
didn't
pockets.
just get a check. I mean, I'm not sure. Maybe she has Cash App. I'm not sure if Cash App takes checks. I don't know, man. I'm trying to just wrap my head around that whole scenario. It's like, yeah, I want it in cash. You know what? I'm gonna put it in my checked. Why would you put it in a checked bag? It leaves your sight. It leaves your control. I, oh God.
Well, the thing is, I think she said when I
My
watched the interview,
goodness.
and it was earlier today, she said she thought she wanted it to be safer. But I'm thinking, how can anything be safer when it leaves your person, especially on a connecting flight? I don't like. How could it be inconvenient? It's actually what's sort of funny to me is that women carry purses. So she
Mm-hmm.
took this purse, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she
Mm-hmm.
hid it in there. So
Mm-hmm.
why not just carry the purse on you?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just what I'm so baffled about this also is that she went to the news about it to tell her story, and I guess the news is doing it. It doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't seem very newsworthy, but we're
Yeah.
talking about it because we think it's so bizarre. But I just can't wrap my hands around it, and because usually a lot of these stories when they go to the news, it's a lot of like, I don't want this to happen to somebody else, like be aware kind of thing, like be aware there are a lot of pickpockets in Barcelona, so be careful where you put your phone,
Yeah.
things like that. But this is like, be aware you shouldn't put a bunch of cash in your suitcase that you're checking, even if you hide it in a purse and then hide it in the suitcase. So I don't know. I'm sorry. We shouldn't laugh.
Oh
But
no, not
it's
not laughing. We're not laughing. We're
okay.
just giggling to ourselves because it didn't happen to us. However, it's just checked bags get searched, and once you hand it over, you don't see it until you get to your destination. It could be anywhere. I mean, your carry-on item is with you at all times. Of course, it gets searched, but it's with you at all times. Where if you have a carry-on and you put it through the thing, and then it takes a bit, and then suddenly your money is missing. There are cameras around where you can be like, I had money in here, and it's suddenly gone. And they have caught people stealing stuff out of check-in, carry-ons. So I just don't. I don't know that. It's just so unfortunate. Um, Bless her heart. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I hope maybe something good will come out of it. I think it's a tough thing. I mean, there have been rings of people who steal from check bag and baggage handlers, and I know the airlines have. I think they've done a. I think overall that there are very statistically very few incidents of that kind of thing happening. And there are actually not that many bags that are searched, and probably people who go through bags, but I wouldn't chance it with cash for sure. I I don't know. And also I think cash, like if you have like something that you have in a bag or something, some of that might be covered by some of your homeowners policy. I don't know if you check. Like I think you're like your computer. If you lose your computer, it could be. If you have insurance, that could be covered. I'm not sure if that's covered if you put it into a check bag, but either way, no policy for anything is ever going to cover cash being lost, pretty much. Pretty much so. I'm talking broadly, but I'm not an insurance expert either. So that's it. That's what we got for you on this crazy story today.
Alrighty, well, that's going to do it for this episode. Luxury travel booking, TravelZork Travel. Visit us at TravelZork.travel to plan your next amazing vacation, and be sure to find us on social media. You can find us easily. All social platforms are at TravelZork. We'll see you next time.